Hello, dear ones. This is Maria from the Awakening Path. Today, I'm gonna talk to you about the Atlantis. That was the third human race that was brought, the third seeding that was brought to Earth. It wasn't exactly the third race. If you saw the other video, you know what I'm talking about. Let's go to our channel. Let me start showing my screen. Sorry, I got a little bit. Give me a minute. Okay, this is a continuation of the series about Earth's evolution, and I'm talking to you about the seeding that started about 20 million years ago. I already talked about the land of Moor. That was the first seeding. The second seeding was the Lemurian, the civilization of Yu, Rama, and Maya. And then we have the third seeding, that's the Atlantis. I think most of you already heard about the Atlanteans, the Atlantis continent that used to be on the Atlantic Ocean, and it's under the water. So, as I was explaining in the previous video, the first humans brought to Earth happened about 20 million years ago. About a little more than 2 million years ago, all the human race was eliminated from the solar system, including Earth, and then they recolonized Earth with humans, and this time they brought 4 civilizations: the Lemuria, Yu, Rama, and Maya. And what all those 5 civilizations had in common, they were very in tune with their intuition. They were vibrating on the 5th dimension and up. They remember they were one with God, and they use the power of their mind for almost everything that they do. And there was a lot of white magic and using the power of that everything that's around us is energy. So they would use that energy that's in everything and interact with the nature, everything around them. But they are not really bringing too much advancement to the planet. So about 900,000 years ago, a little more than 1 million years ago, it was decided that they wanted to bring technological advancement to the planet. And then the Pleiades, they volunteered to do that. But before I go there, I have a picture here of an old map where you still can see the Atlantic continent in between America and Europe and Africa on the Atlantic continent, Atlantic Ocean. And then it was found many buildings and structures under the Atlantic Ocean. So it's proven that the civilization really existed. This continent was really sunk and went under the earth, but in one time in history it was a massive land, it was a continent. And after the fall of Atlantis, the continent went under the water and only remain some islands that were right now it's on the place where we have the Bahamas Island. So some characteristics about the Pleiades. They came from the about the Atlanteans. They came from the Pleiades, that mean part of the Pleiad collective consciousness incarnate on those bodies. And they also had the 12 strand of DNA, and they came to bring technology to Earth. So they did remember about their experience on the Pleiades. So that's how they were able to bring the technology to Earth. And in the beginning, they were very balanced. There was balance between the divine feminine and the divine masculine, the intuitive part and the technological and scientific part. And they were operating with 12 strands of DNA, all active. So they were highly psychic. They remembered that they were one with God. They also did use the power of the crystals combined with the power of their mind and create machines, and they creating healing device. They created a lot of things. And just like all the other civilizations, they have a lot of psychic powers like telepathy, clairaudience, and so on. There was no TV, there was no telephone, because they didn't need it. They would use that all with the power of their mind. And there is lots of very interesting information about the Atlanteans in Dolores Cannon's book. But today I want to talk to you about the golden age of the Atlanteans, where they were getting along with all the other civilizations that coexist at the same time. And they started bringing a lots of technological advancements and scientific. So in the beginning, the project was very successful. As I told before, they existed at the same time of Lemurian, Rama, Yu, and the Mayans. That's somewhere over here. Not the land of Mu, because the civilization of Mu was extinct about more than 1 million years after when Atlantis came to picture. And some of the things that right now we hear as a myth on the cartoons, for example, they could fly. They could literally fly, and the land, the myth of the flying carpet, actually the carpet didn't have any power. It was the power of their mind. They would just sit or stand up on the carpet and put whatever they wanted to carry with them, and then the carpet would move with the power of their mind, because actually it was them flying. But because they didn't want to be carrying a lot of stuff, so they decided to use the carpet. And they started to doing genetic experiences. And one experience that they started doing was combining the genetics of humans with animals. And in the beginning, they tried to use that for good, and for example, the mermaids, many of those creatures they would create, that was half human, half animal. They would be sold to families, and they would be like helpers in the family. For example, the goat, the woman with goat parts, they would help, and they do the cooking. For example, the mermaid, they would fish and bring the fish and at that time where they were still in contact with their god nature, they would treat those creatures well, was part of family, was member of the family. So, but later on, those experiments went wrong. But I'm not gonna talk about that right now. But what I'm saying is, since the first humans started to come to Earth until the end of the golden age of Leo, Earth was like a paradise. It was the Garden of Eden that everybody heard about. Actually, the fall of Atlantis was the fall of the Garden of Eden. So that was it that I wanted to talk about today. And next time I'm gonna talk to you about I think I'm gonna make a video before I talk about the fall of Atlantis and Lemuria. I'm gonna make a video about the Anunnaki. There was the dark forces that started to influence the Atlanteans. That's what we're gonna do. Thank you very much for watching my videos, and